Hello, welcome back to our channel. My name is Dr. Sierra Bazell.
And my name is Dr. Chantel Mosby, and we're the Holistic Educators.
Today,
Today,
we have an exciting guest with us, and I will allow Dr. Chantel to introduce him to you and tell a little more about what he does.
yes, we have our special guest, Bryce Walshe of 24/7 Global Support. Bryce, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Thanks.
We are so happy to have you to join us today as we talk about the pros of outsourcing. And the reason that we have Bryce with us is because he is the person that you would outsource any of your administrative work and some other tasks that you can send to him to do so that it can free you up to do what you know how to do best. So, Bryce, can you tell us a little bit about 24/7 Global Support?
Okay, so we're a virtual staffing company, outsourcing company, primarily working within the administrative sort of space. We've got our own sets of specialization, doing shared business support, dedicated virtual staff, and a live answering call center as well. So we work across a few different spectrums of the outsourcing industry. But I suppose here today we're here more to talk about the administrative side of things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, because we talk
yeah,
about how important it is to
mm,
hire your weakness. And someone's
mm,
weakness could be the fact that they don't know how to do something, or
mm,
they're weak in that area because of the timing that they have to do it. As an entrepreneur, we wear a lot of hats. We
mm,
have so many things going on,
mm.
or especially like a startup company. So can you
Oh
tell
yeah.
me, how can you help a startup company or an entrepreneur, someone that is by themselves, they need some help? What are some things that you could do for them? And again, you
Mm,
offer virtual services, so that means
yeah,
it doesn't matter where they are, right?
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, our team in particular in the Philippines, but we've also got people now in India,
Okay.
in Australia, in the US as well that we're working with, and but primarily most of our stuff happens in the Philippines.
Okay.
That's this, and so the ways that we can help people out, and obviously time is a big thing, and that's the reason I got into outsourcing in the first place, because I used to outsource before I became the outsourcer. So
Okay.
we had too much to do in a day,
Mhm.
and you know when I started, and I actually suppose the best use case is to actually tell you guys about how I got into it in the
Yes.
first place.
Okay.
And that was, we were running an accommodation company with like Airbnb apartments,
Hmm.
and there were two of us running around sorting everything out, making sure the guests get in, properties are clean, everything's maintained, the bookings are coming through, um, just as an example. And we're like, hold on, we were also working other jobs as well, in addition to starting our business. So it sort of started as a side hustle. And we're like, okay, when we're at work, for example, we ain't got time to answer the phone. So I outsourced to another company at that particular point in time to get the phones answered and get messages taken and reservations. And then sort of as we moved along, we got them to do more and more work, whether it was answering emails or,
Hmm.
doing spreadsheets, ordering linen, all of that
Hmm.
sort of, organizing housekeepers. So that was those things that used to take us a lot of time to do that we initially
Hmm.
outsourced.
Yes.
Um, just so that we could, be in touch with the landlords and doing all that stuff, and everything else was taken care of. And
Yes.
that's essentially what we're all about. And it, you know, um, in various industries that we work with, we've got logistics people, we've got accountants. If there's companies that only, they need some help with their accounts, so they haven't got time to do their books.
Yes. Hmm.
We get in, we help them keep their bank accounts reconciled, and
Hmm.
all of those sort of things.
Yes.
Or companies where they're needing orders fulfilled and
Hmm.
organising warehousing and things like that. We do that on a part-time basis or a
Yes.
full-time basis as well. And
Uh-huh.
all sort of, if it sort of fits in the administrative spectrum
Hmm.
and it can be trained,
Hmm. Yes.
it can be done virtually. As long as you don't have to be on site and
Yes.
it can be trained, it can be done virtually.
And that
Yeah.
makes sense. And I'm glad that you brought about, I mean, you mentioned how you got started. You got
Yeah.
started doing your own business because there was a need. You saw
Yeah.
the need yourself, and then you
Yeah.
turned around and that you made that your niche and doing
Yeah.
that thing well. So we talked to entrepreneurs
Mm.
about the importance of finding the need and for you to be the
Mm.
solution to the problem. And so you saw that because you needed it yourself, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So why not,
Yeah.
you're very organized, so why not take what you already know and make money from
Mm.
it too, you know?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and add value to other people as well that were in the same industry, and
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You knew
So.
exactly what they needed because that's what you needed.
Mm. Yeah.
So what better
Exactly. Yeah.
way to make it
Yeah.
work? That is awesome to hear. So
Yeah.
with that
Right.
being said, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, I was just going to ask the
Mm.
question. One of the things that people who are starting up a
Mm.
company like to think is, oh, I can't afford to outsource things. So,
Mhm.
for
Mm.
the person who is just getting started that doesn't have a lot of money, what kind of
Mm.
suggestions would you make to them as far as outsourcing?
Okay. I mean, there is when you're working on a budget and a tight budget, it can be tough. And I mean, when you look at what you need done, if you look in, there's onshore, nearshore, and offshore outsourcing. So your offshore is your sort of lower end pricing wise,
Mhm.
still awesome value because we're people no matter where you are in the world. And but th- working with offshore teams can help you get it done at a lower cost than if you were to have it done locally. Um, so you may only need a couple of hours a week to get.
Mhm.
You may have a certain things you want to get done, and you can work with providers that will be able to help you get those things done. And it might
Mhm.
be $6 or $7 an hour,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
example.
Mhm.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
even less depending on where you go. But yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
even
Yeah.
with
Mm,
that,
mm,
I would suggest for anyone that's starting out, you can
mm,
always start out with 2 hours a day.
mm.
Then you can increase to, this is what I did, 2 hours a day. Then it increased to 4 hours a day. Then it went to
Mm-hmm.
8 hours a day. And then next it
And
was
then
12 hours a day, right?
mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Round
yes, it
clock.
was. Yeah, yes, yes, that's
So you
right.
always can increase more, but I will tell you that
Mm,
it really takes a team
Mm-hmm.
to get to where
mm,
you need to be because they really can just give you free time to be the brains behind
mm,
the company. And with Bryce and
yeah,
his team, Bryce is the brain. So sometimes,
mm,
you'll have two brains instead of one and get
Mm-hmm.
things
yeah,
done much further. And so, Bryce,
mm,
can you let people know there are different types of outsourcing companies.
Mm-hmm.
Some you outsource to someone else that's an entrepreneur and that's a
mm,
single person themselves that can help.
yeah,
Those are some
mm,
pros and cons to that, as opposed to outsourcing to a company like 24/7 global support because it's
mm,
a team.
Mm-hmm.
So that team, right, will you have maybe someone, a virtual assistant assigned to you, but then Bryce or someone as a management, they know the job too. And what you have
mm,
backup, you have more people to kind of
mm,
help you. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of having a team, because
mm,
you can outsource to uh people in the Philippines that work by
mm,
themselves and that work
Mm-hmm.
for
yeah,
themselves. I've done that before.
mm,
Or you can outsource to a company, and with that there are some benefits to outsourcing
mm.
to a company because you have that backup, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I do, and I have spoken a lot in the past in videos and things about the difference between using a VA or using a outsourcing company.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, a VA is a person that's in business for themselves, working for themselves. They find their own clients, and they've got their own special niches that they work in. Their own specialization. When you come over to a company, whilst it can be a little bit more expensive, but you have the backup of the fact that they are a company and they've got multi skills. So
Mm-hmm.
you might have, like for us, for example, we can do your administrative, you can do accounting, marketing, all of these sort of specializations. And with if you're working with a single VA that's on their own, there is the chance that they might disappear on you. It's happened before, and I think, Shay, it's happened to you as well. I think I can remember that. And so, or if someone's sick or they're on holiday, we can, if they're sick or they're on holiday, you can actually, we've got other people there that can step in and make sure the job gets done. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, yeah. And other things with working with a company as well is as far as things like non-disclosures, and I know that can be a minefield with when you're working with private contractors and things like that, is that and it's brought up in a lot of circles. I mean, see a lot of circles of people that discuss outsourcing and or people that are wanting to find out more, but they're worried about, okay, what happens if my VA runs off with my IP or something like that? So where a company can help is that they may be based somewhere else, or they may even have a local US company, which we do. So when you work with these companies the company may exist in the same jurisdiction, you're signing an American contract. So you've got full accountability of both sides in a case like that. So that, if something goes wrong, they've obviously got their insurance and they're covered, you're covered, and no one would ever want to have to go to through the legal system, but it's there if you need it, which I think is really important. And then obviously these companies have got their own companies in, if it's offshore in the Philippines, they've got their own company there and they're employing staff properly, as opposed to being a offshore, independent contract scenario. You can, they're properly covered in the legal frameworks and the jurisdictions.
Yes, understood.
Sorry, if that all makes sense. Yeah.
Yes,
that
makes sense. The one thing though that I like about the Philippines, because there are a lot of outsourcing companies, there are a lot of VAs around the world that you can outsource to. But I love the companies that are in the Philippines, or the people, because they have the same morals. They have the same moral values as us in the United States. Even more so, they even take their job very seriously, and I love that about them when working with the people in the Philippines. So I'm partial to them. Now I do outsource some of my technical stuff, maybe to another country per se, but for its administrative work and the marketing and those type of things. And Bryce, you're tech savvy too. I learned that along the way. But I will say that 24/7 global support can get you right on your feet, can get things started. Sometimes we don't know where to start. We're like, what can we do? You could start off with simply having someone to research, I don't know, after school programs, and they could put it all on a spreadsheet for you. And instead of you doing all that, you could outsource and have someone else do that. So simply as starting with data entry, administrative work. And Bryce, you guys also do offer, there's a difference between like chat and email support as opposed to phone support as well. And some people don't understand that. I'm not sure what I need. But
that's right.
Some things can be done just online. Some things can just be done through email support and emailing your customers or your potential customers and chatting with them, through a chat support system, as opposed to having to call them as well. So that makes a difference in the budget as well. If it's not in your budget, you can choose not to have phone support, right? And just do
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we tailor our solutions to exactly what our clients need. We're not like a one size fits all boxes. We don't do boxes. So if your budget and your goals, it's primarily about what you want to achieve, and that's how we build a package to suit where you're going and where we can add the most value within your budget constraints and all of that sort of thing. So if you don't need phone support, you don't have to have phone support. If If you only need a couple of hours a day, you only have a couple of hours a day. It's easy. We like to make it easy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But our main aim is to get your business to where you want to go.
Hmm.
That's
Definitely.
the end of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I think that would be very helpful for people that are just starting out and afraid to take the leap and work with a company because they feel like they don't know if they can trust it. They don't know if it will even work for them. So maybe starting slowly and doing 1 to 2 hours a week with chat support would be helpful for
Oh
them.
yeah. Hmm. Yes,
Absolutely.
most
Yeah.
definitely. And so also, if they don't trust a company, I trust 24/7 global support. So you can
Hmm.
start there with them. I'm going to tell you as my testimony with Bryce, he's a tech savvy. I mean, he's a genius when it comes to business minded, extremely business
Oh,
minded, extremely approachable person. If you don't know what you're doing, just
yeah.
tell him what you're trying to do. And he is the brains that can give you all kind of ideas. I can say that I worked with Bryce for 4 years, and because
Wow.
of him, my business like boomed. Like it just expanded.
Yeah.
Again, I start off with 2 hours a day, 4 hours a
Yeah.
day, 8 hours a day, and
Yeah.
then Bryce, right,
And
12
there's
hours a
oh,
day.
how's it? Yep.
He couldn't get rid of me
It's
at
like,
all.
yeah.
At
Wow.
all. And
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that, Bryce and his team ran my entire transportation company operations department. No one knew
Yeah.
that
Mm.
they were in the Philippines. They handled the phone calls, they handled the emails, they handled the chat support through my works website. They handled
Mm.
everything. I basically just would
Yeah.
check in to see what was going on. This is what I needed. Someone maybe contacted me in person because they saw us in person, gave it to them, but they really expanded my business. And like, that's why I say it really takes a team. It started
Mhm.
off with a team of just one, and Bryce being the still the management, the owner of the business. And
Mhm.
then eventually it was shifts.
I had
Who's
about
coming on next?
yeah. I think we had 3 or 4 people. Yeah,
Hmm.
3 or 4 people going at one point with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, like I said, it's the best. It was
Yeah.
the best experience
Mm.
ever
Yeah.
with working with them. They will really
Mm.
take you to a whole nother level. And
Mm.
I owe that to you, Bryce. Thank you so much for teaming
No
up with me
worries.
and for helping out with that. And especially now, we even
Yeah.
have videos, Bryce. Listen to this. We
Yeah.
even have videos on talk to people about how you deal with rude clients, and
Mhm.
or how you
Oh yeah.
how you fire a client, right? So
Yeah.
Bryce would be my one that I would go to, and he would deal with my rude clients. So
Oh yeah.
Bryce would take phone calls. I'm like, Bryce, this customer, and this is what they're doing, and I just can't take it no more. And Bryce
It's
like,
like
look,
they're too much. Yep.
he's like, okay,
Yep, there you
Shawnee,
go.
what's going on? And he's like, I'll
Oh,
call
yeah.
and
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 like,
because and he will still be professional with the people, but he'll
oh,
just lay it down. And sometimes it
yeah.
takes that. It takes where the people know you as the owner, so they may try to get
Mm.
Mm,
over on you. But then
Mhm.
you say, no, my operations manager handles this. So,
mm,
Bryce will call and say, hey, I'm the operations manager of blah, blah, blah. These are the procedures. These are the policies.
mm.
What is the issue?
Yeah.
Basically. And
Yeah.
he's like,
Wow.
I would
you
just
can do this or you can do that.
yeah.
There's no gray areas at all. This is this
Yeah.
way
Wow.
or this way. And
Oh
people
my
respected
gosh.
him extremely. I'm like, oh God, I got
Yeah.
Bryce.
Wow. So you guys are a
Yeah.
one-stop shop. I can use you to fire
Mm.
people, get rid of
Oh,
the
we've done that
bad
before. Yeah,
customer.
yeah,
Yes, get rid of the
That's
yeah,
amazing.
customer. Get rid of the
yeah.
customer. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be diplomatic, but yeah,
Yeah.
we got the job done. Yeah. No, if that's the
Wow.
end goal, it's it can go one way or the other, and
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
try at all times to make it go the way we want it. Yeah,
Exactly. And
yeah.
then Bryce, he
So,
has the charm.
mm,
He's
Mhm.
yeah,
Australian. So who would
yeah,
he be to an Australian that's talking?
yeah, Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So
Yes.
Mm,
basically we all can afford to outsource something
Mhm.
that we have
mm,
going on. Many
yeah.
entrepreneurs are doing multiple things because we're trying to find out what it is that we want to do next. So we're kind of
Mhm.
dipping and dabbing here and there and everywhere and got this company started or a name of a business started or just
Mm,
different things because we have multiple gifts and we
Mhm.
want to be creatives and we want to be able to make money but don't know how because we have too
Mhm.
many things going on. And then
Mhm.
life
oh yeah.
comes in, so life comes in and it kind of slows things up a bit,
That's it.
and so some things like if you're thinking about some things in the back of your head and you really can't get it out there, you don't have time to do the
Mm,
research, you don't have time to do the administrative part of it or
Mhm.
make phone calls yourself, just outsource it. Just outsource it. You can always start
yeah.
small and then just increase more.
Mhm.
And that just makes sense. It makes it much easier that way. Bryce?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, have you ever had like maybe a client that you had to turn down that you felt that it just didn't work out, it wasn't the correct fit for your
Yep.
type of business? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, we have, and it depends, and these days, yeah, we've been on a journey together for a while, and these days it comes down to a lot of cultural fit.
Okay.
Is really important because there were times that we've had various different clients along the last 5 years
Mm-hmm.
that some of them, probably the last one I turned down, well, was after we'd been working together for a bit, but
Mm-hmm.
we had to fire them, and it was because they didn't um, have any respect for the staff that were working for them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when and I do talk a lot about culture and making sure that you understand the culture of the people that are working for you. I mean, whilst they may be in the Philippines or India or Mexico or
Mm-hmm.
wherever they may be,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to do some research into
Mhm.
um, the culture of and sometimes it can even be the culture of the communities within the countries that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
mean, we help out, so we do a full cultural awareness guide so that
Mm-hmm.
we can
Mm.
teach you about the culture of your team, so that you
Mm-hmm.
understand the do's and don'ts, and then obviously the team get trained so that they understand the culture of the market they're working with and the
Mm-hmm.
do's and don'ts. But the importance of um, and yeah, the importance of you may be paying not a lot, but they're real people. You're
Yeah.
dealing
Mhm.
with real people. They've got real families and real
Yes.
lives, just
Mhm.
like
Anybody.
anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yes.
And it's when people would get to the point where they think they're dealing with robots or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
like there
Wow.
are people, and people make mistakes as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
It happens. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's really important, and I obviously make a really big point of looking after from my
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
end, looking after my team.
Yes.
We want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure they're happy, they're looked
Mm-hmm.
after, they've got everything they need,
Mm-hmm.
and they're being helped along to achieve their goals in life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
but yeah,
Yes.
no, the cultural aspects are really important, and it
Mm-hmm.
can make and break
Mm-hmm.
an outsourcing project.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I was looking at a come up on my Facebook feed a
Mm-hmm.
ad for a monitoring software. Actually, it's called Time Doctor, and they
Yes.
were
Mm-hmm.
advertising the magic bullet. Throw a monitoring app on your team, and everything will be better. It's like, hold on, you
Mm-hmm.
can't just throw a monitoring app on your team and expect everything to get better. If you
Yes.
try and force a Western culture onto a non-Western culture,
Yeah.
you're going to
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
have trouble. So
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
it's just about the mutual respect and remembering that they're whilst we all have the same values, and like the
Yes.
Philippines have the
Mm-hmm.
same values, there's different different countries, different cultural aspects,
Yes.
and the
Mm-hmm.
way
Mhm.
that they do business internally in their country as well. So that
Yes.
all um,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
is a part of it. So
Yes.
Wow. That's
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
amazing that you guys
yeah,
do business with integrity and you value
mm,
diversity because a lot of companies don't and they don't treat their employees well. So just to know
yeah,
that about you should make
mm,
someone want to work with your company.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
yeah.
Most
They're not
definitely.
they're people, not profit centers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. That is so true. And that's just the way it is. People think because they can't see the person that they can, call them anytime at 4 a.m. It's like, that's not their working hours. That's not their responsibility to respond to you because you decided to send an email at 4 a.m. to your VA. Your VA will sleep. You hired her from 9 to 1. So no, she's not going to answer you. So there's no reason to get upset about it. But, and some people do that. They feel that they can just boss people around because they can't see them or expect the person to be like right there. And that's not their working hours for you. So they still have to make sense. And that's why I said I prefer outsourcing to the Philippines because I know, like you said, the cultural values are the same. They work with integrity, and I like that about them even more so, when I was partnered with Bryce, his team would come and pray with my team. So I loved it. So we're Christians and a lot of the Philippines are Catholics. And so when I had team meetings on Mondays, we prayed at 9 a.m. and they were there, and so it was just a really good experience of being able to match the cultures and, still pay attention to the belief system as well, because to me, it's hard to work with someone that don't have the same belief or don't respect it. They don't have to have the same belief, but they may not respect it either, or may start calling. It was like, we have prayer at 9 o'clock. Why are you calling? That type of thing. So culture does matter to make sure that you're outsourcing the right people as well. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I think that we have talked and given you the pros of outsourcing. Again, this is Bryce Walshe. He is the owner of 24/7 Global Support. And so if you would like to reach out to him, we'll have his contact information for you. If you would like to talk to him a little bit more because you're a little afraid about outsourcing or you don't know if you really need to outsource just yet, I can tell you it's very beneficial. Again, even if it's 2 hours a day, it's very beneficial as an entrepreneur and as a startup company to get someone to help you. Two is always better than one, and you'll be able to work with a peace of mind, with some clarity, and just be able to advance your business so much further and faster than if you try to do this alone. So thank you so much, Bryce, for joining us on today.
Yes.
No
And
worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
Okay, guys.
That's okay. All right. See you.
Bye, Bryce.
Bye.
Bye.